Hey, what is up everybody? I'm Mario here, and I'm Sonic the Hedgehog here. We're back for some more of the Maxi Toys productions, and welcome back to more Let's Play of Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games for the Nintendo Wii U. So yesterday that we actually did manage to play a bit of on Duel Rugby 7s, and also not to mention that we actually did play a bit on football. And yeah, yesterday that Styx actually joins in from Sonic Boom. You know, Styx from Sonic Boom as to the TV series, including the video game versions as well. But even then though, that she will clarify that she will confirm until when she actually be produced into the Maxi Toys productions. So that'll be pretty exciting to actually see her in action. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to be doing the final part of the Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games playthrough, because today, this was actually the final day of the Rio 2016 Olympics so far. So, yeah, because of that, today was actually the 16th day, and possibly the last day of the, the Rio 2016 Olympic Games as far as that is concerned. But even then, today was supposed to be 21st of August, so, yeah, we definitely will be pretty excited, and also we actually feel pretty sad at the same time, because after all, that we're about to be moving on to, continuation on the certain playthroughs and all that stuff. But, at least today for this episode, we're about to be doing the final event in the tournament gates in Rio 2016's, tournament gate mode. And then after that, we can pretty much guarantee that we're actually going to show off some, extra bits here and there for likely the item stands you can actually use for rings or coins for their currency situations. And, yeah, that'll be pretty exciting for the most part as soon as we actually, showcase all of those, other things and what have you. And then, hopefully, we can actually get every single Mario and Sonic Olympic Games playthroughs will be done. So even that, it has had a nice little fun ride for this game so far. So despite the fact that, well, we'll get into the overall bit until we actually get into the staff credits. So yeah, as far as when I was gonna see that coming. So here we are at Duel Football, where we're gonna be basically playing as one of the playable characters in Sonic Rivals in the PSP. Well, mostly for Sonic, Shadow, Knuckles, and Silver. However, if you pick Sonic alongside with those three, no special animation included for Sonic and these three friends. But there's only one exception, or in this case quite a few exceptions, which are Dr. Eggman, and as well as Mario, and as well as Tails and Amy, but except for the others. But either way, although besides Jet the Hawk from Football, as far as I'm concerned, so yeah. So, in case if you didn't notice already, is that this is actually the second attempt of this recording session. Well, apparently, that perhaps in my opinion, of all the events we actually come across into the Rio Tournament Gate, or what have you, or Rio 2016 Tournament Gate, whatever you want to call it there, of all those events we actually come across, this is by far the hardest event to win on. I don't know why I found this to be a little bit harder than the likes of, although it's not as hard as the ones at the table tennis, though, and especially noticeable in beach volleyball. But for some reason, I had a lot of trouble with this event as far as winning for first place, though. And that's how we actually got ourselves a second place medal for this event in level 3. It's mostly because the prime example of it I found is that in the finals match that we're about to be anticipated for winning, but all of a sudden that these computer opponents got even freaking lucky when it comes to actually winning that event. Because sometimes though it might be dependent on the huge emphasis on plasma balls uses. Because, that if you actually let your gauge go around in a circle, that means you can now actually use one of the special abilities, or in this case, the special moves, to actually use the plasma ball to begin with. But for some reason, that computer opponents kept on using it, and plus, if you actually let your dual points get subtracted in half when the other team actually gets the points, you will gonna lose no matter what. But, as far as, apart from those types of things, that's also the same applies to where we actually originally did this back in the first recording session. But then what happens is that Well, since we're actually doing pretty well at this point in time, but then all of a sudden, computer opponents got freaking lucky with, well, some points up ahead. Like, take for instance, as far as I said earlier, that, you know those computer opponents constantly jumping quite a few times and then it constantly dodges you every time? That's why every single time when you're trying to tackle somebody. Which, that's my only complaint about the Duel Football in general, although it's not too bad. Although unlike the ones in the regular football, that you can't just tackle the opponents because you already get a foul from that. So yeah, apart from that though, it's a really nice little distraction going on. So anyway, so now we proceed to the semi-finals right here. So we're actually going to be take control of Sonic the Hedgehog in the hub world. But even then, it's nothing too much noticeable, really, because even then, it's pretty much exactly the same walking animation as it does it for the previous installments. Especially the returning characters for that as well, including myself included. Alright, here we go. On to the semi-finals on Duel Football. But yeah, I kind of feel sad, honestly, because I really enjoyed watching the Rio 2016 Olympic Games so far, because even then, it has been a really great run. Well, not to mention back in Sochi 2014 Olympic Winter Games, that, you know, that Piglet and Sylvester already actually watches the the Sochi 2014 Olympic Winter Games, that, somehow that Great Britain seemed to only got 4 medals, or else, unlike in Rio 2016, that speaking of where we actually going to talk into certain stuff, that we're going to be talking about some Rio 2016 stuff. So first of all, that they actually the Great Britain actually got so far 66 medals in total, which is quite a lot considering how even then it's also the same applies to, I don't know if it's just me, but I think back in London 2012 Olympic Games they have the exact same medal counts or something like that, or I don't know. Hooray, beautiful goal! I'll have to stop saying that. So anyway, yeah, for that, the medals totals that we have so far, anyway, we actually got about 27 goals, and we actually got, quite a few of them, or actually, we actually got another one also from Farah, Norn Farah, from, you know, previously, he actually got one from, 10,000 meters track, which is really incredible, considering how, he actually managed to got that during that time. And now he actually got one from 5,000 meters, which is quite interesting to say for that. And as for silver, not much for silver medals because, you know, they're pretty self-explanatory. And as for bronze, however, we actually got quite a few of them from bronzes. Well, there was one from Vicky, Hololand, got one from Terravium. I think I've already mentioned this before. But there was also one for Bianca from Taekwondo's women's plus 67 kilograms. I think that's what I was going to be saying for that, and kilograms was what I was going to mention. And as well as we actually got another bronze medal from women's 4x400 meters relay. I know, it's insane, right? Because we always kept on thinking about the, we actually constantly playing 4x100 meter relay in the previous installments of the Mario and Sonic series, if you guys can tell already. But it works, I suppose. So anyway, another thing we'd like to discuss is that thanks to GameExplain.com did actually mention is that there's going to be a new game coming out for going to announce on the Nintendo NX. We even know that we already mentioned about the Sonic Project Sonic 2017 will be coming on the Nintendo NX. Well, there's another one that's going to be confirmed, but it's going to be called Dragon Quest 11, which appears to be an RPG. But even then, I gotta admit though, I'm not exactly a big fan of Dragon Quest, to be honest, because I haven't played too much of the Dragon Quest, to be honest, because the only time I actually found these RPG games to be enjoyable, which are Kingdom Hearts series, and also the Paper Mario games, and as well as the Mario Luigi series. I think so far that we actually got 5 Mario Luigi RPG series, and then also that we're actually going to be having 5 Paper Mario games as well. Well, as far as from that though, I think that's about it when it comes to that part, but hey, at least Color Splash will be on its way during the 7th of October, so that will make the 5th entry in the Paper Mario series. Although I'm pretty sure that some Paper Mario fans seem to actually kind of already disappointed with that regard, because I think it's mostly just, you know, Sticker Star all over again, but in card system as well as the painting system. But let's not talk about too negative about it, because even then, the game wasn't entirely out yet. But at least we're still looking forward to actually getting that at some point or another. So, yeah. As far as when I was gonna say that during that at this time in 4th. So, yeah, that's how this works basically. And as far as the top table list of the Rio 2016 at the moment, that I think USA was actually in the championship onto the Rio 2016, just like how it does it on during that the London 2012 Olympics. I don't know if Sochi 2014 has that though. Although we might as well just have to find out in that well, the medals count from Wikipedia or something like that. By the way, if you actually be curious to actually how much medals that we actually got from you know, you can just download your Rio 2016 application, but even then, that again, since this is the final day of the Rio 2016 Olympics, so that I'm pretty sure that these games will be over until then. So, yeah, I'm kind of feeling a bit sad, honestly, but overall, at the same time, that had a pretty enjoyable time watching it, as well as looking brief on certain things or what have you. Despite some of the accidents can happen every once in a while, but even then, it's not too much of an issue. Well, except for when the France player did actually got himself a broken leg in during the vault, and as well as what else is on there? Oh yeah, there's also another accident which did seem to happen like quite a few days ago. It did happen on pole vault, and then believe me, this is not going to be lying, or we're not totally lying about this, but somehow someone else's whatever that is just got automatically painful. Like you know, we're not gonna mention that rude word or anything, but some player did actually accidentally got hurt by the you know, the bar on the horizontal bar that you actually have to go over it when you're actually using that pole vault right here. And then when you're trying to take off, it's really easy to get yourself to get hurt on your whatever that is. For if you actually get hurt yourself, and you just might as well get injured. Well, granted though, there's also another things we need to mention is that during that I think it's the 10,000 meters men's track. That although Ferret did actually just made a gold medal, so that's a pretty cool for him to actually get the gold medal. But then all of a sudden, the only accident we actually found out during a couple of days ago is that he did fell over and tripped over at the same time. But luckily, he actually did get up during time. Yeah, which sounds a bit well, incredible for the most part. So yeah, despite some accidents here and there, but apart from those sorts of things, they actually did a really remarkable job. Especially, I give Great Britain some credit to actually did really awesome. Yeah, in fact, we actually did pretty well when it comes to actually getting a lot of goals at this point. Well, so much so that it does it for China. Although, granted, we only got 3rd place for China for the medals in total though. But even then, China got in 2nd place, though. Is that supposed to be the exact same results as it does it for London 2012 version? I don't know about you, Sonic, but we'll just have to find out during time. So either way. So yeah, I think that's it for the most part when it comes to actually discussing on certain things, mostly due to the Rio 2016 Olympics, and all that kinds of stuff where it's going to be happening. Oh right, sweet, we got gold. Yeah, true for us to actually just to make it more, well, I think probably my favorite events I've actually seen so far today is the fact that those women are actually doing the rhythmic gymnastics ribbon, which I can't believe it actually included the ribbon, or else, although it also includes the clubs on that as well, which is very similar to how he actually did recently played as Rosalina from it. Wow, 111 points. Jeez, we're getting quite a lot of points here. But despite the fact that once you actually get into level 3 or the max difficulty in this event, sometimes their computer AI can get ridiculously lucky with those shots. Like, take for instance right there. I mean, jeez. But either way. And that's how that we actually just managed to do this for a second recording attempt, because even then, once we actually did lose, again, when you actually lose into the beginning parts, you will manage to give up so easily. But if you lose to these opponents in the semi-finals, you will get into the 3rd place. But if you lose to them in the finals, you pretty much guarantee you get a silver medal. So at least we don't mind about the silver medal, honestly, because, well, silver medals doesn't actually matters. But even then, it's just for a matter of, like, just trying to perform itself. But once we get stuck on certain tournaments and what have you on our own time, that means we'll just have to get ourselves a lot of trouble with this. So anyway. So, yeah, overall Duel Football is actually a pretty good experience for my part. It's just the fact that AI can get really, really cheap at times, especially when they're constantly using their plasma balls every time. And also, not to mention, there's a lot of randomness when there is, like, keeping jumping over for that little tackle for that situation, but somehow that we actually did manage to claim a 1st place medal. So yeah, I don't think there's any special animations for Knuckles and Sonic, so they just do a wave thing. That's all they do. Well, besides they actually do them all by themselves on their own. So yeah, I think that wraps everything up for this particular Rio 2016 tournament game. So yeah, that's how that works basically. You go in to anticipate for tournaments or what have you. You do have the set of 3 rounds in those particular events. And if you actually get yourself a Q icon, this means you qualify. And then you should be able to proceed to, you know, the next set of matches. So now for the, that's it for the main modes of the game. And now let's talk about some extra bits before we actually end the playthrough off. So first off, you notice the Me First, which you can actually post those, stamps. You can actually use stamps as for the Miiverse, just like in Super Mario 3D World, Mario Kart 8, and as well as, I don't think Mario Party 10 includes the stamps. But, there is one from, oh jeez, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD, because, you know, it adds some stamp system. Anyway, you can actually send those Miiverse posts onto, you know, the actual Miiverse mode onto your Wii U, so that you can actually just, view those posts in online. So yeah, you can probably do that. And also worth mentioning is that, as I said earlier, this game actually has some item stands, and as you can tell, that in order to actually, the reason why you have yourselves coins and rings to begin with is that you can actually use them to actually spending onto those item stands. Like, as you can tell, there are actually 3 item stands in total. There's one from the Rio 2016 Items Edition. Like, depends on what currency you'll be using every time when it's like it shows the icon, which right now, it shows the icon of the coins, meaning that you have to spend some coins on. But if it's rings, you have to spend with your rings. So every time when you spend on to, let's say, 5 coins or rings, you can only just use that for 1 spin. But if you are trying to actually get 10 items, you need to actually spend either 50 of those coins or rings. And this also the same applies to the Sonic's item stand, as well as the Mario's item stand right over to, well, there's the Sonic stand on the right. Somehow Cream is the only host onto this little particular item stand. And yeah, you get the idea. And there's also this little +1 bonus, meaning that you can actually get yourself an extra item with it as well, every time when you're trying to actually use that option. So yeah, you get something like the Mii costumes, and as well as some occasional music, and then as well as some Mii First stamps that you can actually use it from. So, however though, if you're about to get every single item throughout the game, it's all randomized, really. It's not just a matter of you're trying to actually get new stuff all in one go. Although you can do that in when you first time play a new game, but when you play it more often, especially if you actually get yourself some more items and stuff, well, these things can get randomized if you're actually trying to get those certain prices. And then if you talk to that Pianta over there, it takes you to the Mario stand. So, yeah, that's how that normally usually works, like that. So let's see how we got here. So we've already got that. Lemmi's headgear, that's actually quite nice. And then occasionally you get yourselves, depends on what item stands you go for, you get some Mario or Sonic stamps, like you also can post it on Miiverse. So yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, I can tell that we actually got Yoshi and Luigi from that already. So yeah, we haven't seen Pianta that since in Mario Kart 8. So yeah, I'm pleased to be back to actually let the Piantas return, because I don't think that Piantas do make a return in 2015 though. So anyway, another thing that's worth mentioning is that if you talk to Shy Guy onto this little Palladium stand, and this will actually access you to the ghost match matches, so that you can actually compete against with someone else's record time, for especially noticeable in these racing events. And then if you're actually just about to win one of those ghost matches, you get 1 point for that little part. Another thing is worth mentioning though is that if you every time when you actually press the plus button, you can actually take a shortcut to what nodes you want to jump into, rather than just actually walk about into these certain modes throughout. And it's also worth noting for is that, as I said earlier, this game actually has the amiibo functionality. And then if you actually scan Mario's, you can actually scan for the Mario League. And then if you scan Sonic's, well, you can get access to the Sonic League. So, yeah. And the final thing we'd like to showcase of is the Terrestrial, or something like this, or this little familiar house. Don't know what that pronunciation's name was, but I really do apologize for that. But anyway. So in here, you can actually check yourself some bunch of records that you've actually beaten from. Well, there are only a grand total of 9 of them at the moment, because even then though, some of those events, mainly football, rugby sevens, and beach volleyball, etc., doesn't actually include those records amounts. So only 9 of them in here. So again, it's a switch of how dream events do make a return here, but we'll explain to that when we actually get to the staff credits, as I said. And then in here, for this awards department, you can actually double check onto your medal collectathons you've recently collected throughout this game. Even though we've almost got all the medals, well, not all the gold medals per se, because there are some events that are ridiculously hard to get gold from. Well, mostly prime example of that freaking table tennis. And as well as beach volleyball that we actually lost by Duel Football because of that computer opponents' AI and all that kinds of stuff, as well as the max level difficulty of the tournaments and all that. Granted, we only got 1 medal though, but in our own time we can get more that often. And also, if you're actually going to try and anticipate for Mario Leagues or Sonic Leagues, you have, 4 different selection of events that you can actually anticipate it for. Like, for instance, that in my league, that you can actually anticipate it for football, Duel Football, Rugby Sevens, and Duel Rugby Sevens. Of all the leagues that you've actually got there, Mario, I think probably Mario's League is probably the easiest of the bunch, just because, well, since we actually did play these events quite a few times already, and then we had a lot of fun with. But as far as the Sonic League is concerned, that we're actually going to be playing for beach volleyball, dual beach volleyball, boxing, and table tennis. We only got 2 out of 4 of those gold medals, first place medal. But we actually did lost in dual beach volleyball because, again, just like dual football, that AI can get really rubber banding every little bit of a while. And then table tennis, much like level 3's tournament game, we suck at table tennis. But we'll discuss more onto table tennis until we actually end the playthrough off. And it's also, you can look up some tips and all that stuff. You can also just look up some tips onto after when you finish the event or whatever. As well as you can actually check out some flags from those different regions on different countries on one region, which I found was really nice to look at. As well as the Mario and Sonic flags, which you can, as you can see, we almost got 1 more flag from the Team Mario selection. I think the last one will be Bowser. So as soon as we're actually going to be, I think in order to actually get those flags, in order to actually get them, you need to actually keep on playing the Rio tournament game more often. And then if you actually find one of the tough competitors, then you can actually get one of those flags by asking them. So yeah, we already got 6 left on the Team Sonic department. I think those were from Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Blaze, Silver, and Dr. Eggman, if I remember rightly. So, and finally, we can look up some stamps right here, so that how many stamps you've got in total. I think you can actually get 100 of them all in total. Or else, unlike the ones in Super Mario 3D World, I'm not exactly sure how much stamps are there in the Super Mario 3D World. I think there are 90 of them in total, I think. But probably for sure from that. But yeah, we pretty much got almost all frick, I can't speak today. Anyway, we pretty much got, almost all of these stamps we actually got. We only got 3 left. And also, just like in the previous installments of the Mario and Sonic series, well, except for Beijing 2008, that you can actually customize your actual Mii costume. And you can basically just, you know, set them into your status. And then every time when you're trying to suit up for those, suits that you want to wear for your Mii, then your status will increase. And like, you know, the attributes and all that. And also, just like it does it for Sochi 2014 Olympic Winter Games, and including Mario Party 10 as well, you can actually either turn off or turn on the Miiverse support. So yeah, I thought it was worth mentioning. As well as that though, just like how it does in the Olympic Winter Games, London 2012 Olympic Games, and Sochi 2014 Olympic Winter Games, you can actually change one of those musics into during the gameplay of those types of events. So you could do that if you wanted to, like if you're actually trying to do that. Well, except for gymnastics, because in gymnastics you only have like 4 musics to select, rather than you just can't just customize it on them. And finally, before we actually end things off, there's actually... What? Favorite event, table tennis? Oh, hell no. I just despise table tennis on this version. But anyway, you can press the minus button to actually view your profile, including some Miiverse posts as well. And if you press the ZR button, then you can actually view those Miiverse posters. And finally, if you press the plus button, you can actually change what region you actually comes from. So, anyway... So let's end the playthrough off by actually seeing the staff credits in Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games for the Wii U. Is that all the staff credits looks like? That has to be one of the most lamest, probably the laziest staff credits I've ever seen in a Mario and Sonic game. And by the way, in order to actually get the staff credits though, you have to complete all of the events in level 3 in order to actually access to this staff credits. So yeah, so that's it for the Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games for the Wii U. So yeah, even then though, that the credits itself is pretty much empty for the most part. Like, I kind of wish it actually adds into the gameplay footage and all that kinds of stuff. But all you get here is just, well, the mascot was actually doing this little acrobatic move, and then your Mii just completely stand there, completely still, no, bringing in some animations whatsoever, so that's kind of a lame excuses for that part. But at least I'll take London 2012 and Sochi 2014 staff credits any day, because back in those games, you can actually see those gameplay footage on some certain modes and certain events any day. So, yeah, I kind of prefer those two over this. So, anyway, overall, Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games for the Wii U. Actually, this is actually a really good game, even though despite there's some bit of ups and downs here and there. Although, let's talk about the positive things that we can think of about this game. For one, the visuals look really, really beautiful, especially since this is the Wii U title. And I'm pretty sure this might actually be, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure this might actually be the last Sonic game to be released on the Wii U, because after all, Nintendo NX will be on its way during 2017 at some point. Or don't you mean in next month, Sonic? Because thanks to the Gamescom 2016 actually points that out, that Nintendo NX will be revealed at during September this year, so something, I don't know. But even then, I think it will try to release that system during some point at next year. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's next year. But anyway, yeah, and also so many newest additions, like for instance, the new characters have, we only have not one, but 14 new playable characters, which I found is really awesome. But the only downside I can think of is that you only have to pick the new characters in one specific event, not all of them, which is a bit too lackluster. And also, I really like how the fact that the Hero Showdown is easily one of my favorite modes in the game. And also, one of my favorite events in the game, it will definitely have to be Rugby Sevens, including the dual Rugby Sevens as well, because I found that those events are really addictive. Especially consists of you actually just playing with your friends. Even then, it will be really, really fun and hilarious at the same time. But, yeah. So, as well as that though, I think that's about it for the most part, because, well, the only negative things I can think of about this game is that sometimes that, well, unfortunately, this game does not have online play, which I kind of promised that Halloween back in Sashi 2014 actually has one. But why the hell is not included in this installment? I mean, it would be nice to actually add that, but for some reason it just kicks out on this game. But anyway. And another negative thing I can think of is that some events there are really fun to play through, but there are two exceptions, mind you, which I found really hard to get into. Like beach volleyball, I found is quite hard to get used to because sometimes computer opponents can get really lucky with those shots and special shots like that. And also that one event that really fudges me up at this point in time, table tennis. Oh my god, I really hate table tennis in this version. Because no motion controls or anything, but anyways, enough about that, because that was being over, so thank god. I don't want to touch table tennis ever again, well, until you actually do the tournament games anyway. Oh crap. But anyway, apart from those sorts of things, I had a really good time on this game. I'll probably say now that I think this game is slightly better than the one since Sashi 2014. Well, and also, final thing I need to complain about this game, no dream events. No dream events whatsoever, which I found is a really massive problem with this game. But apart from those sorts of things, though, it's a really good game. Although, it wasn't my favorite of the bunch, although that will be in the top 4 list at this point in time, because even though that Sochi 2014 Olympic Winter Games probably still is my least favorite of the bunch, just because of the motion controls do feel a bit whacked out. But even despite the motion controls have been slightly absent in this game, I don't know if exactly they'll actually reveal the 2018 Olympic Winter Games during sometime in Nintendo NX or something. But probably not, because they are trying to move on to the action-adventure game or someday. But anyway, we should probably give this game, like, let's say about 8.0 out of 10. But anyway, so thanks for watching, guys, for our Let's Play of Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games. This is me, Sonic the Hedgehog, and I'm Mario here. And until then, take care. See you guys then. Bye. See you then. Ciao.